Okay, hopefully stream is working. Obviously this is on a 5-minute delay, so I have to wait to see. Um, just about time to start the timer for Team 1 though. Get my trusty timer here. So yeah, hopefully the stream works and everything. No technical difficulties. I'm excited to see what these teams have to bring. They know these teams know each other quite well. I think they scrim a good amount, and obviously their members are pretty familiar with each other. Of course, Chicken Man playing on EQ last Worlds, and Imposters being largely made up of EQ members. New maps, Bear Claw. Well, Crucible's not super new, but hasn't seen a lot of like tournament play. But yeah, Crucible not seeing a lot of tournament play, and obviously Bear Claw not seeing any. It's a completely new map. So I'm quite excited to see what these teams have to show on those maps. I do hope that it's not Brawl Push every game. I'd be down for some more control-y type games with both these teams. DSC showing they're more than capable of doing that, beating out Vile with some control strats on Caustic, or at least one of the drops of the two. So I am looking forward to maybe some slower games, but we'll see, I guess, in not too long. Bonson, but I just want to make sure that that there's no technical issues. Clan Max are allowed. Oh no! But yeah, just wait another minute and 30, and should be up on the stream. If not, then I guess I'll switch over to my channel. But hopefully it's no issues. Yeah, I'm both happy and a little bit. No, I'm only happy that there's not the new. Um, oh man, I should can't remember what they're called. The legend mechs. They are not allowed in this tournament. It would be quite yeah, be interesting to say the least. I think. Not sure if they'll be allowed in future tournaments, but I think it's well known that a couple of them are not very fair, quite quite a bit too strong. Okay, we should be live. Looks like we are live. All right. Okay, hopefully stream is working. Obviously this is on a 5-minute delay. All right. Going in. So DSC versus Imposters. So Kenya Network. I don't actually know what the 3 legal caps are, but I'm guessing it's FC Theta Kappa, because it'd be kind of weird to have the home caps. So what do we got? On this side, got Atlas RS. That is one hell of a paint job. 4 large X pulses, it's pretty normal nowadays. Large X pulse light machine gun arrow, that's their hero mech. Vulcan 5M with large X pulse machine gun small lasers. Those large X pulse are very, very quirked. Can't remember what quirks exactly, but yeah, it's very heavily quirked. 60L with medium X pulse heavy machine guns, interesting. Cyrus 1P, Sprawl Osiris, and then another medium X pulse heavy machine gun. Okay. Pull that up. On this side, we got 8 medium X pulse blackjack. I think that's, like I've said before, I think it's too hot. I don't think it's good. It did not go well for Vile using that. But, okay, they brought 2 of them. Tin Man with SRM4, of course, is good. Large X Pulse Charger, and then these Osiris. So actually kind of similar decks. I think that I favor DSC's deck. I don't like the Blackjacks. I think the DSC's deck also has more range. The Atlas is going to be pretty much uncontested if it gets in the right spot. And I think that their mechs are going to be quite annoying poking. Most likely, Imposters is going to have to push DSC, which DSC should be able to receive more than easily, I would say. So just some light skirmishing. Simrog getting shot up a little bit by Hollow, but very minimal trading here. Well, right now, Imposters does have the 2 cap, so DSC is gonna push up the Alice, I'm assuming, and get angles and try to force them off it. There's a lot of time. It's a small map, and it's the light drop, so I wouldn't say tickets are a concern at all. Just kind of follow this Alice. I think that Alice is going to be the star of the show for DSC here. And I expect it to have quite a lot of damage by the end of this, if they keep it slow, which they should. I think that just let the Atlas do the work, and DSC should be having a good time. But if they get antsy and the Atlas doesn't have lines, then I could see this going Imposter's way very fast. Yep, they're keeping it slow. Alice in the front. It's like Stimrog in the Osiris. With the rocket launchers, I missed that. So instead of SRMs, got rockets. Maybe looking for some kind of backstab. He's got to be very careful, though, because he's very far from his team right now. If they know he's over here, then I think they could very easily gank him. And he wouldn't be able to escape. He'd have to rely on his teammates doing a counter push. But then again, the Urbies are not the fastest. So it really would only be that other Osiris to chase him down. Let's watch, because Stimrog is about to get engaged here. I think the Vulcan might see him. He's got to be very careful using those jump jets, especially, because obviously it makes sound. Basalt and the Charger. Okay, Imposters called a push. Basalt and the Charger is dead, just like that. Stimrog not able to get a backstab, I don't think. House and Seraphic Poner turned around for him, but then once he leaves, they turn around for the fight. So it's essentially a 6 versus 4 right now in DSC's favor. They're absolutely slaughtering Imposters. It is not even close. I think also the Blackjack's just too hot. They can't really do anything. Like, even if they were ignored. They do get chicken, man. That's something. But I think that it's going to be very, very hard for Imposters to do anything here. I mean, Bonds is just getting focused by 4 mechs. Stimrog and Torish on the other side, focusing House. maybe they can bring him down. They're looks like they're going legs, but Acer's gone. This is definitely a DAC drop. I think that they had a better drop deck and they played it better. I'm not actually sure. I kind of missed what forced the push from Imposters, but the Charger just kind of suicided into the open and died. So yeah, very, very easy cleanup for DSC. And well played to them, of course. Yeah, Charger did tank quite a bit, but I think Imposters team just was not quite in position to do anything with that. It seems like a lot of them are still in the low ground, and obviously the medium X plus blackjacks are not good for a push because they're gonna get too hot and then not be able to do anything. So let's see the damages at the end. Yeah, 54 damage on a Charger, which was focused on twisting and not able to really shoot. And you see the blackjacks like not able to put out very much damage either. One of them second lowest damage, and then other one nothing impressive despite living quite a long time. On the other hand, the Alice, even though it's the only mech that died on DSC's side, doing the most damage and probably taking quite a bit too, right? So just very, very decisive win for DSC, I think. I believe it is Bear Claw next. I'm actually like very, very curious why Imposters decided to bring those blackjacks. I know that I had not spoken kindly about them in the last time I saw them used, which was uh, Vile versus 5JDX, where they both overheated. One of them shut down, the other one just killed itself with not very good damage. So I'm kind of confused why teams think those are good and why they're bringing them. They must be performing well in scrims, but I just can't see why. I mean, they don't have good upfront damage because they're X-Boss mechs. They're too hot to either push or receive. So I'm genuinely confused why teams would ever bring that mech. It seems just bad to me. On the other hand, the Urbies were interesting. Seems like they did the job. And obviously, the Alice is like such a good mech. It's such a staple at this point. I think a lot of teams are bringing it for good reason. I did not start the 5-minute timer. Guess I'll start that now. Okay. Okay, so I don't know what to expect for Bearclaw. Not seen this played in tournaments yet. And I haven't played the map too much myself, to be honest, even in quick play. I think that the rest of the drop should be a little bit more interesting than that one. Honestly, well, I've already given my opinions on it, but I think DSA just had a straight up better drop deck, and I think they just executed it well. So nothing too interesting in that drop. I think a good way to or good good game to go back and learn though on maybe how to play a more control-y style for drop one. If I actually recall, I think they subbed the Alice in the very back until they scouted that it wasn't a full send. Like on what we call Bucket Hill. Okay, we're launching. So 370 tons for DSC, 375 for Imposters. Now 370 tons could mean, I mean, it's just 5 tons. It really doesn't mean that much, but generally the lower tonnage you take off of the max tonnage, you're more likely to be pushing, right? Because you're giving up extra tonnage for more speed generally. But 5 tons is probably not worth looking at or even thinking about. So yeah, this map will be interesting to cast because I can't really do a bird's eye view too well, right? Because the cave, so it's not what anybody wants to see. So lots of side shots. I wish I could get a better view of the map as a whole, but yeah, I think what the focus is going to be on is Theta here. Then FC is a bit closer to Theta, so I expect teams to fight more along this side. But I could be completely wrong. We'll see. What do we got? Let's run over there. Let's see. So this is DSC. Yeah, Phoenix Hawk 7S. It's heavy light peep. It's a good build, of course. Large X Pulse Spider with light machine guns. Your large Battlemaster, and that is an interesting choice. I'm interested to see where that's going to set up, because generally if you're taking a Battlemaster, you want high mounts. Or like a, you want to peek over something and you use those high mounts. I would not think Bearclaw would have places like that. 4L's good choice, of course. Light heavy PPC Shadowhawks, I think too. Oh, this one's just light PPC, but yeah, they got that mix of SRAMs. So Stimrog and the Spider 5B. I'm guessing this is one large X Pulse. It is. So kind of similar to the other Spider. It's got a little bit more cap for a little bit less DPS, but oh, that is not what you want to see at the beginning. All right, well, I think he got slapped by Tovrish in the Phoenix Hawk 7S, which I think was heavy light PPC. We'll see in a second. Yep, heavy light PPC. This is a Laser Bomb Crusader. Basalt in the 4L, so it's a 4L mirror. Now this Fafnir 6R, very, very, very good mech and build. I love it. I didn't see it at all really during Worlds because, well, there's just better choices for 100 toners when you have clan mechs into the equation, but it does fulfill a unique role of very good sustained DPS and alpha at range for IS. So I'm excited to see that one. I like the Wolfhound pick as well. This doesn't seem like a map that really requires JJs as much because it's so big, and a lot of it's flat. So I like the Wolfhound. It's 2-year large, 4-year medium, which is an interesting build. Now the Spider, I think one trade's there overall. It was able to just kind of stare for a long period of time, and the Wolfhound seemed like it got caught off guard, but nothing too crazy damage-wise. So yeah, this game's slowing down a bit. I think the Spider 5e is going for the back cap, but Sigma is not it, right? It's Kappa Theta FC. So I hope the Spider does not step on Sigma. That would be a disaster. He's not going to do it. He's going to run past. Should not be questioning Stimrock. He's got his shit together. Bonson gets slapped by that 4L. Let's see where the 4Ls have set up. So this 4L is up on this hill. Okay, this spot makes good sense for the Battlemaster. It looks like they have figured this out. I'm guessing this can high peak this. Yes, it can. Let's see what the angle looks like. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good, but right now I'll not be able to see anything, but I think it sees a lot towards Theta. So this makes sense to put the Battlemaster here. Not very flexible. It's not really going to want to leave and go in elsewhere, but yeah. So 4L and Battlemaster set up here. What about on the other side? And that's my timer. Oops. Anyways. 6R, just kind of chilling over here. Oh, Wolfhound is actually taking more of a beating than I realized. Yeah, I'd be a little bit careful. 4L also over here. So it seems like Imposters is kind of wrapping on the right side towards FC. I guess that they're going to play for getting FC and then just ignore Theta entirely, which I think that can work. See what Stimrog is going to opt to do here, because he's just kind of been out of the equation entirely. It's a big map, and they have a lot of time, but he's kind of not pressuring or doing anything. I would expect that maybe he play like an angle like this and harass a little bit. But so far had no impact. I don't think he's done any damage, so we'll see when he gets active. Still plenty of time. Seems like both teams are opting to control, which is what I like to see. Just gotta be careful. It looks like DSC is winning the trades really hard right now. Not sure exactly why that is. I think maybe a skill thing, maybe positioning thing. Wolfhound getting blapped a couple times definitely hurts. Assault's still very fresh in this Marauder. How's Acerg doing? Ooh, that right torso getting a bit beat up. I think that's maybe he's cooked himself a bit or took rear damage from something. Whatever it takes, very fresh in this Battlemaster still. He's actually cooked himself. It's really the only damage he's taken is self-cooking. Chicken Man opting to push the left side here. So they're not going to give up FC. I think Tovarish is going to get blapped by Chicken Man in about a second here. Yeah, he does. Does get blapped. His are basically both open, so it's actually not the worst thing in the world if it never comes into a push, because you can just Pop-Tart and you can keep those legs hidden. But yeah, he's got to be very careful with his movement now. It pretty much is just a dedicated Pop-Tart. Can't really afford to side peek very much or try to step on any caps. Right now, this is just decisively going in ISC favor. They're just straight up winning the trades everywhere. They have a positioning advantage with Imposters kind of stuck on this outer ring with not a lot of cover, getting poked from a lot of different places. Yeah, they're all just like fresh. It looks like whatever it takes, just handily winning the trades. He's dodging those Gauss shots, although his CT's starting to get a little bit weak. This is still winnable for Imposters, but they've got to make something happen. I want to see Stimrog get active because he just has not had any impact at all. They've basically been in a 6 vs 5 so far. And he's opted that, I think he's gone around almost the entire edge of the map. Not really, I think maybe, did he grab Kappa? He must have grabbed Kappa, so did grab Kappa. So they do have the 2 cap advantage. But yeah, he's got to be a bit more active now. They are dropping. They're going to use these SRMs. They're going to guild Bonson. I think Bonson has good Overwatch here. They're probably going to be able to punish for this, but will they be able to punish enough? We'll see in a second. Okay, yeah, Prime does go down before Bonson. Bonson tanking really, really well. It goes down to 23%. He did everything he could for his team there. Stimrog on the flank. I like this. This is a good angle. He's getting a lot of harassment damage in. Acerc does go down as well, though. And I think that they really need to be outside of line of this Battle Master. There's really no reason to give it line of sight when DSC is making such a push. I think they're just figuring that out now. They're dropping maybe a little bit too late, though. Tovarish does get, I think, double-legged and goes down. Oh, no, actually side torso checked. Both legs open. Basalt getting bullied. Neon is making some good, getting some good shots on Chicken Man. Does get halved. I think Neon needs to back out and just leave, though, before she dies. And they can maybe try to play caps with the Spider and Wolfhound, but I think it's too late now. Looks like Hollow is going to make sure this Wolfhound doesn't escape and dies. Yeah, there's just no way you can get out of this one, Neon. Maybe open the CT of the Phoenix Hawk, but I don't think that it's going to make a huge difference. It looks like it's just going to be Stimrog left. Perhaps going to run off and try to deny caps for a long time. Now, we are 8 minutes and 11 seconds left, so it's not entirely impossible that Stim could clutch this, but I think the mechs are just a little bit too fresh, honestly, for just the Spider to do. How is his health anyways? Okay, he's relatively fresh. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of tough. Maybe he can, I was gonna say, like, deny the cap for a long period of time, but I think they have enough range and just, like, alpha in general to prevent him from doing that. I don't really see an avenue for Stim to win this game, if I'm being honest. But let's see if he can prove me wrong. I think Theta's probably need to get capped before we can get line of sight on it. Now, he can just hold 1 cap to win. But the Battlemaster is honestly probably fast enough to also get it over to Kappa if need be. And I don't think that Stim can... Honestly, I'd be impressed if he can beat the Phoenix Hawk in a one-on-one, because while the Phoenix Hawk does have almost an open CT, it can very easily twist the large X pulses and just abuse the fact that it has the, you know, the alpha damage. Even if it's just using the small lasers, I'd prefer to be the Phoenix Hawk in that fight. Looks like Stim is going to opt to take this 1 vs 1, which I do think he's going to have to do at some point anyway, so it makes sense to do it. But I just don't see how he wins this fight. He would have to massively outplay Hollow here, and not sure that's going to happen, but we'll see. Stim's leg is open now. He's staying on Hollow. If he gets legged, then this game is over, so... I mean, he's chunking him down. Orange CT now. The problem is, like, again, I think that if Stim could lose a leg and still be in it, then this would be more doable. But the fact that if he gets legged at all, it's really game over is what makes this just so incredibly difficult. He's doing the best he can. What's Hollow doing? Yeah, really, really messed up. Now, we do know that the Shadowhawk is also orange structure CT. Stim both legs open now. Maybe trying to use some terrain to cover his legs. At the very least, he knows that he's not going to be engaged on by the Battlemaster or the Marauder back here. Can protect the cap. What he could do at this point, this would be obviously hard for him to judge, but he could maybe leave and try to get one of the other caps and use his speed. Like go for FC, but I think that if he loses the cap at this point, it's not a two caps, not or a one cap to two cap isn't enough. He needs to hold on to it for a bit longer before he does that play. Trying to leverage his range, doing a good job dodging PPCs. I think cap is about to get flipped though. He does hold on to it. Okay, he's like holding on to it with everything he's got. He's been playing this really, really expertly. I just he does get legged, and I think that's gonna be it. It's gonna be the game. He's gonna opt to leg shield and protect his leg. Now, I will say that if the other mechs weren't a factor, then maybe he could still win this by just protecting the cap and shielding his left leg. But I think the Battlemaster is eventually going to make its way over here, and that'll be the end of Stim. I wouldn't be surprised if they even wait. Oh, great shot from Epiponer. Takes out that left leg that was being shielded, and that'll be it. So pretty close drop. I think that, honestly, I think they just got out-traded. I think that Chicken and whatever it takes just straight up out-traded Acerg and Basalt, but more importantly, like the other imposter mechs just bled too much. They had Stim out of the fight for a long time, getting that back cap, but they kind of like took way too active of trades and were kind of standing in the open. We saw the Wolfhound bleed, for example, like really early. I think they could have opted to just not even peek the Battlemaster and just keep it really, really slow when Stim was grabbing that other cap, and they probably would have won this game. But obviously, hindsight's 20/20. See what the damage numbers look like. Yeah, whatever it takes farming 670 and that Battlemaster. That's like I really don't think there's a reason they should have allowed that because it wasn't actually relevant at all. If they chose just not to give it angles, then it had no way to help on Epsi, really. And they weren't even trying for Theta because they had the other cap. I think maybe can't remember the name of the caps, but they had the far off cap. So Stimrog obviously getting quite a lot of damage. A lot of it weighted towards the end, but he did end up coming into that fight and being very relevant on the backside. But yeah, like 197 from the Phoenix Hawk. The Fafnir 244 is also not what you want to see, so I think they just got out-traded. But pretty close game. Enjoyable to watch for sure. So Imposters has got to, if they want to win this match, they got to win the next three. Definitely doable, but not going to be easy. I like the decks from both teams in that game. I think it was just came down to actual playing, not decks on that one. So much more exciting than the previous one. Swap sides. Yeah, I think that Imposter's probably just not on quite the same page. Like, team cohesion maybe was the problem in that last one, because if you have this spider that's completely out of the fight that's going for the back cap, you really want to slow things down. You don't want to be like going forward and taking super active trades like they were, especially when they're in the open and that Battlemaster has like great cover, for example. We saw the Fafnir with at least one round of Gauss shots on it and just be losing its trades. When you don't really have to peek that, you're good with the spider going for the flank, and then they did even get the cap at some point, so yeah. See if they mix things up at all for this next drop. I think both teams had enough to repel any sort of push. Wouldn't be super easy, but both teams definitely brought enough DPS in position in a way that it wouldn't be easy to just push and kill them. So I hope that both teams stay its control decks and neither switches to the Pepega push, but we'll see. I'm not actually sure what we'll get. It looks like I was gonna say, because they swap sides, I would be surprised to see the Battlemaster again from DSC. That seems like it was a mech intended for that very specific one position. And again, I think that if Imposters had played differently and just not given it line of sights, that it wouldn't have been that strong of a choice, because don't see a lot of other positions on this map where that can really thrive with its timeouts. I mean, I could be wrong about that. Again, I'm not super experienced on this map. But yeah, I'd be surprised if they bring it again if there's a similar place on the other side. Perhaps there is. I guess we'll see. Gotta remember to actually stop the timer this time so it doesn't interrupt. Mid-drop. Man, DSC is like readying up so fast. These guys are here to play and they're here to win, no doubt. You can just tell by how fast they ready up. All right, so 370 to 375 tons, we are launching. Definitely not counting out imposters yet. I think that that match was pretty close, and with a couple of different decision-making, changes, that imposters is the one that takes that last drop. So anybody's game still. DSC is leading 2-0 though. So all right, DSC staying with a very similar deck. We've got 2 4Ls now. So this is their last 4Ls that they're using here. Shadowhawk, 2 Phoenix Hawks. So they basically bring the same deck without the Battlemaster, which I kind of expected. But Imposters is bringing a Bushwhacker HR. 2 binary, 2 ER medium. Interesting choice. I would expect to have machine guns or something as well. But maybe just loading up with heat sinks. Black Knights with binaries and ER mediums. So it's a straight laser vomit push. With the Flea. I love the Flea. Very good pick in general, but I'm not actually sure about this map because the Flea is kind of a map that needs hilly terrain in order to protect its legs. You do not want to be running across an open, flat terrain with the Flea. So, gonna be watching Torish. Hopefully he can play it well and keep his legs safe. Actually already taking mask damage, and a little bit of hull damage. I think Hollow blapped him with some PPCs, but pretty far away, so minimal damage. Yeah, we already know DSC's max, right? Heavy light PPC Phoenix Hawks, I'm just double checking, and then the Shadowhawk with light PPC SRM, and then the 4Ls, of course. What else are you gonna run other than Goss Peep? So yeah, laser vomit push from Imposters. They're gonna have to find a way to close in. I think that they can win this drop, but it's gonna be tough. I give the drop take advantage to DSC again, similar to the first drop. I think that they have to find a way to close in with taking minimal damage, but even then, I think the 4Ls are actually pretty strong in a brawl, or even just like mid-range trading. You can spread the laser bomb damage very, very well, and just pinpoint those CTs or side torsos, whatever they choose. And obviously, the Phoenix Hawks and the Shadowhawk are going to do quite well, either against laser bomb mechs in their face, where they can use the small lasers and SRMs, or just pop tarting and again spreading the damage of the lasers. So, yeah, gonna be interesting. I could see maybe Imposters keeping it slow and just kind of zoning with the laser bomb. I think they are moving into aggressive position. What I'm interested to see is if they just send it and ultra aggressive, or if they kind of control with this. I think they could do either. So the caps are Kappa, Theta, Epsi. They could get Kappa, probably with the Flea. Where is Torish and the Flea? Torish is coming over. He's going across towards Theta, though. That makes me think that Imposters wants to be aggressive and take the fight rather than try to cap. So, let's see. What's this mech over here? So House is kind of... No, he's staying with his team. He's being really careful. He knows that they have 1 cap, and that it's on Imposters to take another one or push. So rather than, risking it, maybe going to FC, and that's when the push happens, and then they're down a mech, he's playing it very safe and staying with his team. Really, really good play from DSC and good decision-making. Torish, I think he's been spotted. He's over here by himself. I don't think they're going to chase him with too much and take any sort of bait. Torish is going to look to get active in the backline and maybe harass one of these 4Ls. He's got to be very careful because Chicken Man's looking his way. And if he steps out and gets blacked, then that'll be it. Okay, so here comes the laser on push. These Black Knights going to be moving across the open here, but getting really, really nice burns, I think, on this Phoenix Hawk 7S. Prime Master is almost open CT. Spreading damage quite well, Imposters, as they cross here. Nyan taking a separate angle with a Bushwhacker. Bushwhacker, very, very tanky. Black Knight's not so much, so I'd like to see a Bushwhacker be a little bit more active in its trading, especially because it's got less firepower than those Black Knights, but obviously they have to be a little bit careful. They're a bit spread out. Bonson getting blapped a bit, but actually spreading damage quite well. Right now, trades looking good for Imposters. They're winning their trades, I would say. Chicken Man has dropped and is actually in the open. I don't think that's a good play at all. He's trying to get active here, but I feel like he's not really... Okay, he actually did cross without taking minimal damage, but he's not really in a good position. If he drops in this hole, I don't see how he ever really gets active again, other than just straight up pushing. Maybe that's what DSC is deciding they need to do, though. Maybe they're deciding that they want to just brawl this out because they can't win these mid-range trades. I really like the spread that Imposters has. They've kind of enveloped DSC, and they're just taking angles and getting shots no matter where they try to hide. Simrog, obviously, on the farthest left flank, really bullying Hollow and House, and probably Chicken Man in a second when they try to push this. Tovrish needs to be very careful. I think that's the easiest way for Imposters to lose this game at this point, is if the fleet gets blacked in one shot. Because right now they're looking great on the trades. Acer's got to be very careful, though. That's not really a peek you want to take by yourself. He needs his teammates to have Basalt and Bonson coming over to support him. I think if they peek this together, it's going to look very different. Yeah, whatever it takes getting absolutely... Oh, Tovrish did go down a Chicken Man. Oh, I was saying that's what you got to be careful about. Okay, now this is a very equal game now. I think actually I would give the advantage to DSC off of that. And that's kind of what I was worried about with the Flea. Acerg, I think he's making a mistake full exposing here. He does go down. I think you need to back up and try to play with his team. Nyan's still very fresh. I think this Bushwhacker is going to have to put in a lot of work. Basalt about to go down here in a second. I think Nyan needs to support that right side. Oh, she gets Hollow in the back, though. That's something. Stim and Nyan trying to support Basalt here, I think, in a second. Nyan just did get blapped. Her side torso is open, and I think that might be an XL build. It's very fast. Simrog gonna get jumped on by the spider. It's light machine gun, large expo, so it's not as serious as if it was heavy machine gun, but it still is gonna put him on a clock. He can't really fight back against that because he's very, very, very hot. I think Nyan's gonna get pushed by Chicken Man as well. Yep. Does go down. Whatever takes one Gauss rifle, but yeah, they just... Oh man, they... That's kind of... I really think Imposters had it. It's just the Flea got picked. That's really it. Before that Flea got picked, it was easily Imposters' favor. And you can see it by the mech percentages as well. House still looking pretty fresh, but again, it's a large X-Pulse, light machine gun spider. It's not like gonna come in and clean up super easily at the end. And yeah, Chicken Man, one shot, whatever it takes, one Gauss, and then that Phoenix Hawk 7S is also like one shot. So really good play from DSC to bring that one back. I think that they gave a little bit too much ground to Imposters, and Imposters, I really like their drop deck and really like their play, but I think the fleet choice was just, yeah, not it. And obviously a piloting error there too, but Flea on this map seems like it'd be really risky, even though, again, I love the mech. It's just lots of flat, open terrain. It's going to be hard to be active with it without getting blapped by something like a 4L. Chicken Man, 727 damage. I'm very surprised he managed to get that much damage too, crossing the open early on like he did, but yeah, not only did he get highest damage, but 3 kills, and one of those we know was the Flea, which was the pivotal point in this match, so easily Chicken Man MVP there. So that is 3-0 for DSC. They have won this match, but I'm still hoping that we get some good games. The last 2 games were quite good and close, so hopefully Imposters stays with it until the end here. Let's see, looking for Crucible, I think, right? Yes, Terra Therma Crucible. Yeah, it's a tough drop deck to, the fleet to, you know, to be against 2 4Ls is, it's, you know, that's a lot of or two mechs that can just one-shot you basically. And again, on a map that just doesn't offer a lot of ways to approach safely. It's very flat. Yeah, there's buildings to use cover, but that would be a lot better for, you know, spreading laser burns and whatnot, or like cutting a laser burn short. But that PFLD of the 4Ls it doesn't really matter if you are side peeking a building. If they're ready and waiting for you, then that's it. And I think that's what we saw. I wish I was looking at it when it happened, but yeah, I think we saw Tovrish was a little bit pinned down. I think he'd need to bail out of there sooner and maybe go for a flank, but it's obviously easy to say that in hindsight. Maybe he felt like he couldn't really escape. But yeah, quite unfortunate. It was going really well for Imposters. I really liked the idea, and I really liked the execution of it before that. I think maybe the Bushwhacker could have been a little bit more active as well. The Black Knights on that corner were kind of getting chewed up, but yeah, overall just a close drop that kind of came down to like one pivotal moment, I think. So Crucible, I am interested to see this one. I think that both trade and push is viable on this, but I probably would favor some sort of mid-range brawl push. There's a couple of really nice spots you can set up, but I don't think you can do like a full control deck. I think maybe like one mech eye out that you can try to leverage to have a little bit more range than your opponent. I think if you stack traders on this, probably get run over by a good aggressive deck. But then again, it's the max tonnage, so I could be wrong about that. I like to see some annihilators, honestly. If they aren't going up on the high ground, I think there's been a distinct lack of annihilators. Okay, both teams are locked. We are sending it in. Okay, so for this one, there's the annihilators I was saying I wanted to see. Good, good. All right, what do we actually got though? So, oh man, I love that 7A build though. That Corsair is so strong. It's such a strong build. Looking to whatever it takes to perform in this one because I really love that build. Chicken Man with similar builds. So both Gauss Bomb with binaries. The Night Star I do know has a lot of quirks and is quite good as well. Binary Laser Bomb, Black Knight, Heavy Machine, Small Pulse, X Pulse, Javelin. These Roughnecks though. Large X Pulse, or just regular Large Pulse. Okay, so these are just Laser Bomb Roughnecks as well. So yeah, it's pretty mid-rangey from the ISC. They got some Goths in there, but it's laser, like with mid-range Laser Bomb. So Spider by the Large X Pulse we know. It's going to be grabbing Theta early. Shadowhawk, Light PPC SRM. Yep, solid build. We saw DSC bring it earlier. Tilrush also in that same Shadowhawk. Of course, I forgot to stop that again. But what's on these Annihilators? I think that's what we want to see. Okay, so they're Gauss Bomb as well. So I think that, honestly, depending on where the Corsair sets up, I like that the Annihilators better. Obviously, they are higher tonnage. Then the 3F, ooh, SRM, Laser Bomb. Okay, so this is similar to the Vile Stalkers that were brought, but a little bit more on the Laser Bomb side. It's got the binary ER mediums instead of, I think Vile's Stalker was one binary with, maybe it was two binaries and like two ER mediums with 5 SRM6, but one less SRM6, more lasers, and better laser quirks. So similar to the Vile mech, capable of stopping a push, but a little bit more into the laser bomb on that Stalker. So, Imposters getting that early Theta. I think it is Epsi Kappa Theta. So that's why you kind of see these teams setting up for this Epsi side. Bonson's gotta be very careful because if he takes a bad peek, he's gonna get absolutely blasted. He's got to get out of there. Ooh, that could have been really bad if he slipped. If he slipped down there, I think he was just straight up dead. There was like no cover for quite a while. Toverson needs to be very, very careful peeking that corner, and he is very careful. Already down to 89% though. I'm not sure where he actually got shot from originally, but it's okay. Nothing too terrible. Simrog kind of making a flank play. I think he's gonna start harassing these Roughnecks. He's gonna spot them for his team. In about a second, yep, here he goes. Starts harassing. Does need to be careful. Those Roughnecks, they are not large explosives, so they can punish him very, very heavily if he makes a bad peek like that. Just lost 15% off of that, and his leg is open. Yeah, if you're in range of those Roughnecks, because they have such a short duration, they're really going to be able to punish someone like a Spider. But I think his teammates got some good shots off on that, because you see 76% on Sharp Poner, 87 on Fire. Woof. Now, Bonson, he needs his backup. He needs Neon, which he does make that peek. I think that Torish and Bonson can maybe just force the fight over there. But no, it looks like DSC's other mechs are coming around the corner. Acer needs to back off just a little bit, get around the edge, or he's going to get focused and die. I think he's kind of staying in the open. It really needs to pull down to the left. But, okay, staying alive. They do get Sora Proponor, so they are jumping on those Roughnecks. That's the right play. Torish and Bonson making the right play. They're getting these 2 picks. Basalt is going to kind of get sold out here, I think. But actually, DSC's other teammates not able to get an angle on him yet. Basalt is living quite a long time. Open everything, basically, other than his legs. But I think Acerg's actually a stick. He doesn't have any weapons, so this is a very close drop still. But it looks like Imposter's favor. I think that if Bonson and Torish can get active, then... Bonson is actually dead. If Simrog and Torish can get active and help Basalt and Nyan here, then they should have this. But actually, it's starting to fall in the favor of DSC. Nyan is kind of getting focused here. And you see that she doesn't really have teammates helping her out. Basalt, obviously, we know is already really messed up. He's about to go down. Oh boy. Yeah, that turned really fast. So now DSC has quite a big advantage. I think whatever it takes is open CT. He is, but we know that Spider is open leg. So, oh, he does get legged, and that's it. I think that DSC have just won this drop. It looked really good for Imposters, but I think they just weren't able to all get active at the same time near the end and take advantage of their numbers advantage. Like we saw DSC do in the last drop, whenever they got the pick, they immediately all converged together and they shared armor really well. That's not what's happening here. Instead, they kind of got picked off one at a time. Obviously, it was a little bit false with the numbers advantage because Acerg had no weapons left. But yeah, that's it. And DSC pulled this one back. It really looked good for Imposters for a bit, but yeah, DSC making that decisive push when their Roughnecks were getting ganked, and able to kind of pick out mechs that were isolated with no cover. The Stalker kind of just sitting in the open here. I think you'd want it to be like, you know, maybe over to the right closer, or like maybe dip down into this low ground. But it didn't happen. Got caught on the open, and that's going to be DSC's drop win. That's 4 drop wins for DSC. Again, another close one, but I would still say pretty decisive in DSC's favor, especially considering the Roughnecks got kind of caught out like that. Really, really good salvage of that, and able to win that drop, even so. I think that this is a good drop deck example of the 5v just not being maybe a good choice. I think that it's a really strong mech if it has time and if it can play caps, but they brought this 5v, like, you know, in a lot of these drops, and I'm just, like, kind of questioning it, because you don't really need the cap excel too much. It's, like, only 3 caps, and these maps are quite big, so you're spending a lot of time moving, and not really a lot of time sitting on caps, where you need to, like, be dodging damage. I think you're losing a lot of the firepower that you could be bringing in a light. Even just the large X Pulse Light Machine Gun Spider that we've seen DSC bring has more firepower. And it's not going to heat up. But I don't know. Who am I to say? But yeah, we'll see with the damage at the end. I have no idea. Maybe the Spider actually did more than I'm giving it credit for. I do know that the Spider 5e is obviously Giga Quirked, so it can put out quite a lot of damage in a short time. But it seems like it wasn't quite able to have like the same amount of impact that you saw the Javelin kind of have, where it dived on the Annihilator and just kind of soloed it. Basalt there, who had already taken some trades and was kind of open up, I believe. Yeah, so we're just sitting here for the tickets to change, because right now it wouldn't get to 750 off of just 2 cap. I think when they grab Epsi, it'll wise up and it'll end this. But yep, there we go. Up to 750. And we're going to be moving on to drop 5 now. Yeah, not quite as much as in the Bear Claw match where he had that long period at the end with that spider. I think the Stalker with 147 also maybe just getting caught out of position there, kind of in the open, and getting the hard punish for that. The Annihilators actually both did quite good, but Chicken Man again in that Night Star, 763 damage, just putting in work for his team. I think that was a really good play to call that push with the Night Star, Black Knight, and Corsair around that corner while the Roughnecks were getting ganked. And you can see the Roughnecks, despite getting ganked, one of them did 324 in a Laser Vomit Roughneck, so they got a couple trades off before that. Um, so, yeah, well played by DSA. I'd have to look closer at the Night Star quirks. I know that it's quite heavily quirked, but Night Star definitely not a mech I think of as being super duper strong, so have to take a closer look at that one. Swapping Sunlights. 2.5 minutes. Now we'll also be casting Vile versus KDCM later tonight. I believe that's at 7:30 p.m. my time, so that's in roughly 2.5 hours from now, I believe. Um, yes, that should be right. So if you're enjoying this cast, maybe consider tuning in for that one as well. I really love the pace that DSC is locking their mechs. You can tell they have their shit together. They know what mechs they're in. They're getting them fast. They're readying up, doing a quick double check, and they're ready to play. I think it's very reflected as well in their gameplay. They are doing it very, very well here. I've seen a couple mistakes, but they've always salvaged them. And obviously, Imposters is quite a strong team themselves. But yeah, the energy is definitely with DSC right now. I just tell that these guys are in it to win it. Okay, Team 2 is locked. We are sending it. So, curious if the teams will mix up. I think DSC so far has kind of played the same on both sides of every map. Like, they haven't, at least all the games I've cast of them, including this one, they haven't really mixed up what they're doing depending on the team side. It's always been like, okay, if they bring control one side, then they're going to bring control on the other. And actually, they pretty much brought almost a mirror deck. So I'm actually really, really interested to see if they do the same here, or if they mix it up completely and they bring like maybe a full send, or maybe they bring ER large instead of laser vomit. But I would expect very similar mechs, maybe the Corsair again, maybe even the Night Star again. But we'll see in a second. Alright, well, for DSC, we... I mean, it's different, because it's not Gauss-Vom, so it's just pure lasers. Very, very susceptible to getting pushed. I definitely think that the right sort of push just straight up wins against this deck, because it's very limited on sustained DPS. Really only having the Javelin that has good sustained DPS. The rest of them will definitely overheat. But again, it's the highest tonnage drop, so that sort of push is kind of tough to do. On the other side, with Imposters, we have very normal control style of deck. We have Crusaders with Laser Vomit, but we have the 4L, two 4Ls actually. So this is basically almost a rematch of Bear Claw, the second drop, but reversed. So this time it's the Imposters that have, you know, the double 4Ls that are going to be playing more controlling, and DSC that has the mid-range aggression, Laser Bomb Push. Now, I think the Stalkers are quite a bit stronger than Black Knights, so this is a very, very scary push coming from DSC. I think that Imposter's going to be hard-pressed to win this one, because I think the DSC Stalker mechs, unlike the Black Knights, like the 4Ls do not have a good matchup there, because it's just really hard to pinpoint the Stalker CTs. And obviously they're going to be able to get into mid-range range pretty easily on this map, I think. So I'm really concerned for Imposters. And I don't think DSC is going to have their Javelin get picked like the Flea got picked. I think the Javelin's a much, you know, it's much harder to get picked suddenly in that mech. It's a bit more tanky. It's got the jump jets. It's also a hillier map. So it's going to be tough to receive this from Imposters, but let's see if they can do it. Sturmog in the Phoenix Hawk 7S, maybe getting some early scouting info, some early Pop-Tarts. I think he's in a good position right now to get some early damage on here and be really annoying for DSC, but I think he sticks around. He kind of Pop-Tarted up and then just kind of stood there and got shot. Maybe he didn't see that they saw him. I'm not actually 100% sure there. It's a bit of a dark map. It can be hard to tell exactly what you're looking at. But you can already see the percentages. Look at how much in favor they are for DSC. Both Phoenix Hawks on the Imposter side, pretty low already. And DSC isn't even in range yet, like of the 4Ls. So this is going to be tough to beat. This kind of balled up push. I think they're just going to focus targets together. But that's a really good strike coming in. And DSC actually deciding that they don't want to push that way. They're backing up. And going to go into the center instead. I think it's probably to do with Nyan back here on this hill. Really good spot to prevent that that push. So probably a good decision from DSC to do that. They're going to focus Bonson and Acerk instead, who I think need to bail like right now or they are going to die. You need to play with Nyan's line of sight, because if you're playing without your Martyr 4 on the back, there's no way you can beat against the Mass Laser Vomit. So doing the right play, backing up, playing the hill. That equalized things again. Oh my god, that's gonna happen so often. I'm going to have to figure that a solution to that. But anyways, DSC, okay, they're going full in now. They're going on their side, or Imposter side of the middle. Bassalt's gotta be very careful. If he overextends, he can get peeked by like a bunch of laser bomb mechs all at once and just lose his side torso just like that. But seems like he's twisting damage pretty well. Strike coming in on him. I think that Imposters have kind of, you know, they've taken a lead here. They just need to keep being measured and make sure they don't get picked with anything. They have a good position here. Now, I will say DSC does have 2 caps, so it can be hard to bust this sort of drop deck if they're just holding on caps and you have these like 4Ls that don't really want to move up. But they have a lot of time. Like, there's plenty of time. They have 2 Phoenix Hawks that are more than capable of capping. So as long as those Phoenix Hawks stay alive and they just keep things slow, I think they'll be fine. Now, I say that, but Stimrog, very low, open leg now. I think it just loses an arm. They really need like Nyan to be in the fight before they're like taking those peaks. Now 98% still, holding off on this flank. I think that there's maybe just like not good cohesion coming from Imposters here, because just not peaking at the same time, and they're not really don't really seem to be on the same page in general. But DSC on the other hand are very much on the same page. They're still kind of balled up. I'm interested to see what they decide to do from here, though. Are they just going to try to keep it slow because they have the cap lead, or are they going to make some sort of push on the left or right of this hill? I think that Basalt is maybe going to try to get a shot on their rear, but he's got to be very careful. Obviously, if he falls down that hill, he's going to be dead. So, got to be very careful sliding down. Okay, Bonson, maybe too exposed here. Okay, they're going to full send on Bonson, but they do get that pick. Nyan is able to cover Bonson here, so even though Bonson is getting caught and kind of in the open, I don't think it was that bad of a play. His teammates have surrounded them. They're all getting shots in. And Bonson's still alive. He's tanking like a madman again. Gets both double side torsoed and open CT in that Crusader, and now DSC is in a terrible position. They're kind of just surrounded on all sides. Acer getting shots in. Needs to bail out, though. The Javelin is going to kill him eventually, but Basalt able to get shots from this high ground, and Nyan we saw getting shots earlier on from far back. She's going to round the corner and get aggressive with her team. This is the right thing to do. Yep, lots of mechs falling just like that. I think Acer's still alive. House gave up on the chase for now, maybe thinking about going back after it, but it looks really good for Imposters right now. Stimrog needs to be careful, though, because once this Crusader dies, which I think it will probably die at some point, if Stimrog gets legged, then, the Javelin can maybe try to play cap still. Obviously, it's not going to be easy, but just trying to give him, look for any way DSC can maybe still win this game. And with that singular light mech alive, never want to count it out. We saw earlier Stimrog almost was able to clutch against 4 mechs of DSC on Bearclaw. So, House not quite open CT, actually pretty fresh in Javelin terms. And very scary build. The Heavy Machine Gun Small X Pulse, if they spread out and he jumps on a target, he can easily solo anybody in this game from Imposters if he plays it right. Basalt, about to lose an arm. That'll be 1 Gauss down. Still will have some PPF LD, but won't be able to one-shot or anything. And obviously his CT and right torso both kind of messed up. Stimrog we saw earlier, open left leg, open CT. That's a very easy kill for the Javelin, who he's about to run into right now. I want to see House dive on this Phoenix Hawk with no fear, because you're not going to get a better opportunity than this. He's opting to not chase it, though, and instead be very, I don't know. I think that a little bit too scared there. If you're going to come back and win this type of game, you need to be kind of fearless in looking for those picks, because they do have the numbers advantage, and they are going to start getting those caps back in their favor. But let's see. Maybe he gets a second chance here. I think he's going to defend Epsi, most likely. That's probably why he's hovering over here. I don't actually know if 1 cap is enough for DSC. I don't think it is. I think if Imposters gets the second cap right now, they will win off 2 caps. But yeah. Okay, so here we go. I think House is maybe going to pull the trigger on chasing Stimrog in a second. Maybe not. Can't quite tell, actually. Okay, looks like he is going to chase. Nope, he decided... Okay, so I think that they are under the impression on DSC that 1 cap might be enough and that they should just defend FC. I don't think it is if Imposter steps on a cap right now. But I could be wrong about that. It's just reaching 7:30 right now, which means that we're at the halfway point of the match. And DSC did have 2 caps for a while, so maybe 1 cap is enough. But yeah, Basalt is in the fight now, defending Stimrog and Acerg, so I think this will be much harder for House. Obviously, Basalt, while weak, is much fresher than Acerg and Stimrog are, and now he's actually losing Epsi as well. Maybe gonna pivot and go for Theta. But I don't think you can really win a drop in a 1 vs 4 if you're not willing to take any fights anywhere, But obviously they've won 4 drops, so losing this final one, I don't think they're going to mind too much. It's also a pretty close drop, all things considered. I think Imposters played this one much better. I was worried for a little bit because it seemed like their Phoenix Locks were bleeding way too much for no reason. But in the end, able to dial it back down a little bit, stay patient, and kind of corral DSC into a bad position where they're just getting hit from all sides. I think Neon and Basalt in the 4Ls played that pretty well, and I expect their damage to be quite high. All right, so House is going to take this 1 vs 1 against Neon, who was the freshest mech for Imposters. So we'll see. Definitely favor the Javelin here still. Does have the 4L, so 1 PPC, 1 Gauss left. Don't know if that Gauss has ammo. Obviously, it will matter where she put the ammo. But gonna try to deny the cap. Now, at this point, it's definitely not enough to just have 1 cap, so I think Imposters have to mess up pretty bad to lose this drop, because they can just play the caps and like not take the fight with their Phoenix Hawk and their Crusader at this point, and they're guaranteed to win. So House actually gonna full cap this as well. I'm assuming he's gonna jump on and kill this 4L. You have to kill a 4L because if you just leave, the 4L will just step on the cap right after you leave. Yeah, I don't like running away here because again, doesn't particularly matter. I think you saw the power of the Javelin there, how fast it had that 4L, even if the 4L had taken some damage and was maybe open or almost open on that right torso. That Javelin just has so much DPS. It's like the opposite of that large X Pulse Spider that is it has that range and can harass really well, but it doesn't have any like really fast DPS where it's just able to 1v1 a target super fast. The Javelin's the opposite of that. Like in a 1v1, the Javelin can just straight up beat like any mech if played well. So I would have liked to see House take these 1v1s earlier on. I really think he could have won this drop if he had, had killed Stemrog the first opportunity he had and then snowballed it. Maybe killed Acerc next and then jumped on Basalt and have the Basalt and then go from there. But didn't happen. So we're just kind of watching House navigate the map, go from cap to cap. By not killing the 4L, Neon actually made a decision to... Okay, there we go. I was going to say... was just decapping it, but nope. Steps on the cap there. That's why you have to finish that mech. Can't just leave it. House engaging Acerc here is going to take down Acerc. Acerc just delaying the cap, which is the proper thing to do. At this point, with only 4 minutes left, it's pretty hopeless for House, but he's going to get this kill here, I think. Damage will probably be high at the end, if nothing else. Yep, there goes Acerc. He's going to be able to get Theta here. Now, it's possible, I mean, like, if they feed him kills, like, if Stimrog gets caught here, but what Stimrog should do is just not expose, and then as soon as he leaves Theta, step back on Theta. But Stimrog's actually, like, going in for the fight. This would be how you lose this game, is if you take this fight, die in the Phoenix Hawk, and then, House runs off and gets another cap right away, and then kills the other 4L. But I think that, like, time has ticked enough where it doesn't matter. But we'll see. House loses an arm, I think? Yeah. Maybe Stimrock can finish him. His side torso is open. The 4L is also giving support from the back. Oh, Basalt actually gets the snipe. Okay. A little bit closer than maybe it should have been. Some questionable plays from both sides, I think, in the end of this game. But, yeah. Good match. Good game. Well played the DSC, taking that 4-1. Very decisive match from them. And I think that they're kind of on fire right now. They look really, really good to me. They look like their team cohesion is, like, amazing. And I can tell that, their drop decks are very measured. They have all their stuff. They're readying up fast. So I'm really excited to see what DSC has coming up for us in the next matches as well. So right now, they are the only team undefeated, I believe. So they're the favorites to win this tournament as of right now. So congratulations to the DSC. Let's see if they can keep it up and close out ISC. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like I said, I'm going to be casting Bile versus KDCM later tonight at 7:30 my time, so in 2.5 hours roughly. So tune into that and have a good night.